So She-Hulk came out, and, everybody loves watching that show. I'm kidding. Apparently, it's bombing miserably. And Mark Ruffalo gave an interview to Variety. Now, I'm more of a politics kind of guy, but we do talk about some of this stuff when it gets into cultural and political news. And this is exactly what we have. In one of the most insane interviews I've read, and, well, I mean, maybe it's not entirely fair, but the way the interview is structured just made me laugh. Mark Ruffalo says he doesn't know if he can keep playing the Hulk in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because the world may be ending, or something to that effect. He basically says, if the world is still around for us to make movies like this, I'll keep being the Hulk. But who knows with everything that's going on and where we're currently heading. I'll read the full quote. But the best part about this interview is that, for one, I kind of agree with Mark Ruffalo, but it is a bit over the top. But I love how he drops this statement in an entertainment interview, and the interviewer is like, okay, moving on. Like, yo, bro just told you the reason he can't be the Hulk is likely because society is on the verge of collapse. And they're like, okay. And then they jump to the next question. My friends, I don't think Mark Ruffalo is completely wrong. I think he lives in a delusional reality where his worldview is warped by the establishment and the cult. But I like his work as the Hulk. I got no problem saying that. In fact, I think Mark Ruffalo is a fantastic Hulk. A lot of people are saying Edward Norton was better and all that. Get out of here. No, he's all right. He's pretty good. And I'll tell you this. Look, I don't watch these shows with a left-right cultural angle in mind. I don't care. Like, when there's cringy woke stuff, I roll my eyes, but I'm not going to come out and be like, She-Hulk is, We ragged on She-Hulk over at Timcast IRL because there's this viral moment where the character is like, I control my anger better than you because men are catcalling me. And it's like, it actually is not pro-feminism because she literally tried to murder these guys, fully conscious of her actions. And so, like, it's kind of a funny thing. Feminist tries to murder dudes. They're not even hollering at her. They're like, hey, what's up? They weren't hollering like, come over here, babe. And then she tries to murder them. And then she lies about it to Bruce to justify why she's a victim and should be able to go and do whatever she wants and not be responsible for her actions. No joke. He's like, he gives her the Spider-Man speech about being responsible for your actions. And she's like, I don't want to be a superhero. I don't care if I have powers. I'm going to be a lawyer because I don't care about you. Anyway, feminism in a nutshell. But here's the bigger story outside of all of this. Yeah, currently there was like this story about heavily armed Antifa militants standing guard outside a Texas kid-friendly drag show. And that whole headline is just, I don't even know where to begin. Other than, okay, Mark, I'm sorry. You're right about all of this. About there not being a future of making movies, perhaps. But again, I just want to stress, I love how the interviewers are like, okay, moving on. So here's the story. Let's read about the apocalypse. Mark Ruffalo on joining She-Hulk and his future with Marvel. I'm always surprised that I'm still here. Okay. Well, I don't care about all of this stuff, to be completely honest. I'll leave that for the crew over at Pop Culture Crisis to discuss. What appealed to you about making She-Hulk? Terrible name, by the way, but I do love how in She-Hulk they make fun of the name. And then where do we have so we go on to talk about, are you going to come back to be, let me make sure I search, because I don't want to just talk about, here we go, here it is. Half of the original 6 Avengers are no longer part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. How long do you think you'll be playing Bruce Banner? He says, I don't know. I'm always surprised that I'm still here. I mean, me and Ed Norton joke that the Hulk is like our generation's Hamlet. We're all going to get a shot at it. I don't understand because there's been 2. And Ed Norton played him 1 time. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, he says, I keep waiting for the next version of it. I mean, I'll probably do it as long as they'll have me, if people are interested. And I can bring something that's interesting to me to it and interesting to the fans. But I have no idea. I mean, when you look at the comics, there's some pretty grizzled older versions of him. I'm like, okay, the 67-year-old Hulk, that would be interesting. Here we go. If all of us are still here making movies and there's a world that allows for us to do that anymore, what? With what we're living in and heading towards, the future feels more precarious than any other time. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I hope I'm still around to do it. What? Hold on a minute. Not only is he implying that he will be some kind of warrior or martyr in like a civil war? Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. But I have to break this down and ask this question. If all of us are still here making movies, okay, why wouldn't we be making movies? Like, you'd have to have like a meteor strike the earth, or total economic collapse. And then he says, and there's a world that allows us to do that anymore. What does that mean? Okay, let's break it down. Maybe the world won't allow it in the sense, the spiritual sense, like the economy's collapsed, cameras aren't available, and there's no distribution mechanisms, okay? Or what if he's also implying that, like, fascists take over and don't let you make movies? I don't know. I can't read the guy's mind. But I love that he says what we're living in. What are we living in? And heading towards. What are we heading towards? The future feels more precarious than any other time. I completely agree with that. I really, really do. Maybe not in the complete spiritual sense of what he's trying to say, but you guys know I'm very concerned about civil war. And we have this story, which I think exemplifies it. Heavily armed Antifa militants stand guard outside Texas kid-friendly drag show. Okay. Well, this is crazy. Drag queens want to perform sexualized things for children, so dudes in full black with guns show up. And I'm just like, what? Now listen, my friends, I'm totally fine with Antifa having guns. Second Amendment all the way. That's totally fine. Seriously, I don't care. In fact, I'm kind of happy about it. People exercising their rights and keeping and bearing arms is a good thing. However, what is bad is if people start fighting about it. And at this location, people actually did fight, and they were spitting on people, and people were mad. But I want to talk to you about all that in a second. I want to break down Mark Ruffalo's, but I hope I'm still around to do it. That's the one that's like, wait, Mark, what do you mean? What does that mean? You're still around to do it? Are you saying you're going to die for some reason? Bro, you're not that old. Aren't you like 50 or something? You're still around to do it. Okay, look, I'll be generous. And maybe he's saying you might have like a congenital heart defect and then died at an early age. I hope not. I'm actually a fan of Mark Ruffalo's acting in his work. Look, She-Hulk has got some to it, but Miss Marvel was way worse. She-Hulk's actually not that bad. It's cringy a little bit, I kind of don't really care. I think the MCU's falling apart fine, but Mark Ruffalo's pretty good. Bro, do you think someone's going to kill you or something? Like, I certainly hope not. I don't know what he means by this, but I'd like to imagine that Mark Ruffalo fancies himself as some like bandana-wearing commando in a civil war with like an AR or like an M16, and he's like jumping out like Die Hard style, like as if that's going to happen, dude. There may be a collapse. People may fight, and so in reality, maybe he doesn't view himself that way, but. Look, Marjorie Taylor Greene got swatted 3 times. We've been swatted 9 times and have had multiple bomb threats. So, maybe he's right that it's not even about being some kind of martyr, just about the fact that crazy people are going to do crazy things. And then I want to point this out. After Dude says this, the interviewer goes, finally, if you think back to your first time as Bruce in the Avengers, how have you evolved? And you think about your approach as a character. And he says, it's been a journey since then. I just love this idea that absolutely plays into the notion that the country is falling apart to where Mark Ruffalo can be in a Variety.com interview being like, I think the future is collapsing. We won't be able to make movies and I might not be around for it. And he goes, well, now tell me about the changes to the Hulk. Bro, was that not a red flag to you? Okay, in all honesty, maybe they just cut it out. But if they did, I don't know why they would include this whole bit from Mark Ruffalo. I wake up in the morning and I get one of these notifications on my phone about, I have the news alerts. And it's like Mark Ruffalo says that he might not be the Hulk anymore. And I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. And then I click it and he's like, the world's ending. And I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. This is what building culture is all about. I got to tell you, if you want to support our work, click the link in the description below. Get the song Only Ever Wanted on Bandcamp. Help us get sales. Whatever, man. This is what I'm talking about with building culture, but maybe we won't be around regardless. I think Mark Ruffalo takes the black pill approach. I don't want to take the black pill approach. I want to take the white pill approach. My view is, while Mark Ruffalo is saying he really wants to keep doing this, but maybe he won't be around for it, I'm gonna say something similar. And I kind of agree with him that maybe we won't be able to do this stuff in the near future. With food shortages, with inflation, with just literally everything Joe Biden is. maybe there won't be a future. I think Mark Ruffalo might be referring to like climate change and stuff like that. Fine, sure, whatever. But there's reason to believe on the left and the right that this won't be around much longer. So anyway, if you want to support our culture building and you don't like She-Hulk, click the link in the description below and pick up the song Only Ever Wanted, or search for it and check it out on YouTube or whatever. But here it is. Mark Ruffalo tweets tons of political stuff. Look at this. He says, funny how you never hear these guys whining when they give billions away to billionaires. God forbid you help working class people. And then it's Republican members of Congress whose PPP loans were forgiven. Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Greg Pence, blah, 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 blah. Yo, I just want to tell you something, Mark. I actually agree to a certain extent. When you see all these people on the right and these right-wing organizations getting PPP loans, Tim Cast did not take out a PPP loan. I personally have refused to be involved in that. The company that I run is Timcast. I'm just going to try to be very specific. And I explicitly said, we will not take government money. I don't want to be attached to that. I don't want it. And it was scary because they forced everything to shut down and our revenue collapsed because most ad revenue comes from small businesses, not from big corporations. No, like that don't care about that. If you're a big national level corporation, you might get worried when you lose, AutoZone or something. But for us, it's like Joe's Corner Cafe or whatever, a random name, by the way. They're the ones who are paying the bills, but it's all the smaller businesses that are around you guys, not around me. We lost a bunch of money. I don't want any of this PPP stuff. But I do think it's funny that people on the right did take it. That being said, when the government forces you to shut down, you're not just going to let your business go under because of the government. The government has made that choice. So now they're talking about working class people. Mark, college degree holders are not working class people. They're literally the bourgeoisie. That is what Marx wrote about. They are the laptop class. The working class people don't have college loans. But anyway, I'm not here to rag on Mark Ruffalo's politics necessarily. I'm here to point out that he might not be the Hulk because the world is ending. Well, I bring you to this story and just say, okay, from the post-millennial. Heavily armed Antifa militants stand guard outside Texas kid-friendly drag show. Okay. A kid-friendly drag bunch for all ages was guarded against protests by armed Antifa militants carrying AR-15s. The drag event was held at the Anderson Distillery and Grill in Roanoke, Texas. The event, called the Barrel Babes Drag Brunch, was advertised as dancing, music, and laughs. Journalist Taylor Hansen said that the kid-friendly event featured vulgarity, sexualization of minors, and partial nudity. Yeah, I'm not surprised that's the case. Listen, drag shows are not for children. And this is grooming. I do not believe that all LGBT people are groomers. I do not believe that all drag queens are groomers. I actually have no problem with drag when adults are performing it for adults. It's why there's an age limit for venues like this. Doing this stuff for kids introduces a sexualized concept to them in a way that tries to bypass normal value restraints. Meaning a parent might say, hey, I don't want a go-go dancer dancing in front of my child. So what they do is they call it, the Go Bunny Go family dance. And then you have go-go dancers there, but that's just for families. It's a costume. Come on. Go-go dancers at a kids event, we'd say no way. Drag is the exact same thing. Stripping? Absolutely not. But drag performers do rip their clothes off. Calling it a costume change does not change that. But what happens is at some of these events, the drag performer will pull off a layer of clothing. People will then give cash to the performer. While the performer isn't nude, it is grooming towards stripping and things like that. They say upon learning of the event, Protect Texas Kids, founded by Kelly Neidert, organized a pop-up protest outside the venue. In response, Antifa organized its members to support the drag event. According to the Post-Millennial's editor-at-large Andy No, the local chapter of the John Brown Gun Club, an Antifa militia linked to domestic terrorism, led the call to action. That's right. I think that guy who tried firebombing the ICE facility was part of this. Chris Cruz from Blaze TV reported that Antifa militants armed with AR-15s acted as bodyguards and escorted attendees to their vehicles. He added that Antifa and the staff worked together to provide protection for attendees. Heavens. Well, where do we go now? I'd like to show you this from West Virginia. This is what's causing us a lot of chaos out where we are. So this is the Apollo Civic Theater in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Let me tell you some stories, guys. We were recently looking at a property in Martinsburg, West Virginia to open our venue for community events, gaming, skating, etc. The idea is we want to have a skate shop. I skateboard. We want to have music shows. I play music. We want to play Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons. Hey, I do those things too. Ultimately, these are things I know about. But we also wanted to create a space for other people who want to do other things, maybe paintings or drawings. Just a community space that focuses on, entertainment. Probably have video games too. When I was trying to buy this building to get set up, they wanted a very high price. And I said, the building is not worth that. And they even acknowledged to me. They said, yeah, we don't think it is. But you know what? We're going to hold out because we think it's going to go up in value. I said, whatever, dude. I'm not buying it. Down the street was a diner. When we were going to check out the potential, the building, to see if we were going to buy it, we wanted to grab breakfast, lunch or brunch or whatever you want to call it. Diner was closed. Sign on the door said, unable to open, short-staffed. And I said, that's really bad for property value. Hands down. You think that property value in this town is going to go up when the local diner is closed and understaffed? I think it was Saturday. And it's like, dude, that's when people go out to eat at diners with their family on the weekends. And they couldn't open. That bumped me out. So how am I supposed to expect this property value to go up? Things look bad. Hey, again, maybe Mark Ruffalo was right. So I certainly said there's no way I'm buying a building at that price. And now, about a block away from that building, they're having a drag event. Patrons under 17 must be accompanied by an adult. Children are allowed at this event, with their parents, of course. That's right. An all-ages drag show in West Virginia, quite literally MAGA country. Quite literally MAGA country. So across the area, this is deep, deep MAGA country. I'm not kidding. It's like 80% Trump voters. Jefferson County is like kind of split, but leans Trump, leans MAGA. People are pissed. And I'm hearing a lot of people they want to organize protests. They want to go to the event. Like, what do you think you're doing? This is the thing, man. I think this is a really bad idea. Look, they want to do a drag event. That's fine. I don't think kids should be there. But you want to come to West Virginia, to the Martinsburg, and I got questions. We do events out here. These are the people out here with the Trump flag where Trump's riding on a tank, saluting and holding an Uzi or whatever. Why are they coming here? It is cultural invasion. The schools out here are woke in West Virginia. I'm not playing games, okay? People think they can move out here to MAGA country to get away from this, but they're going after your kids in the schools. I recently provided a contribution, 5-figure contribution, to a local micro school to homeschool kids. It is a religious school, and my understanding is that that portion of it is, for the most part, optional for the families. But all that mattered was it was the best way to allow parents to have their kids in school where someone is there to teach them, someone they know and trust in a small school setting. So small classrooms, like 6 kids per classroom, and some mixed. It's by grade level, not grade, meaning if you're at 8th grade reading level but a 3rd grade math level, that's where you are. They don't put you in a different room and then try and force you to do one or the other. All in all, I think it's overwhelmingly fantastic. And it's happening because parents are trying to get away from this stuff. It is crazy to me, seriously, to see this in Martinsburg, West Virginia. That's just crazy. Because people are going to show up and they're going to be pissed off on October 8th. They're not, I can't, look, I wish these people, I really, really do wish them and their event well, but somewhere probably where it's not going to cause serious problems. And that's what I have to say. They talk about Proud Boys. The Proud Boys would go to liberal areas and on purpose, they would say, oh, they're coming here on purpose so that Antifa comes out and fights them and then they can claim to be the victims. I tell you, I don't understand why they're coming to Martinsburg, West Virginia, which is overwhelmingly Republican and opposes this stuff. And they're going to bring people out and they're going to be people who just go along with it. But there's going to be a lot of really angry people. And that seriously worries me because I don't want to see anybody get hurt or anything like that. But this is MAGA country. So this is causing, a lot of people are pissed. I'm seeing messages pop up in local message boards saying they're going to protest it, or they're gonna show up there and they're gonna block the door or things like that. I have no idea, to be completely honest. But I will tell you this: to the property owners in Martinsburg, Yo, I ain't buying there. Are you nuts? I'll tell you 2 reasons why your property value is going to tank right now, and I hope everybody knows it. 1, with this, you are going to have anger and people not wanting to affiliate with it. I would not want to have a venue next to this venue. I would not want to have the Apollo should have just been like, sorry, guys, we don't think it's appropriate to have an all ages drag show. You think I want to buy a building next to that? Sorry, it ain't happening. The second thing is protesters are going to show up. Do I want left and right people fighting in front of the venue where we're trying to have family events? No. I want to get a venue so that we can do an event called Saturday Morning Cartoons. The idea is we put a pancake, sausage, waffles, bacon, hash browns, etc., etc. Families can come with their kids. We play video games, we play card games, we play cartoons. Good family entertainment. Good values, but I'll tell you what the point is. I like Magic the Gathering. I'd love to get more people involved. And I like D&D. I haven't only played a couple times, but it does seem fun when we have played it. I'd like to see that expand. Video games, music, skateboarding, and community building. But you think I want to put it next to a venue that's doing this? No way, dude. Never going to happen. So you think your property values are going to go up? Dude, no way, man. I feel like I dodged a bullet. It was like a block away. And we're gonna invest in this building, and then Antifa's gonna show up, and they're gonna throw bricks through windows. Nope, not doing it. I thought looking in West Virginia for property was the smart move, because we're gonna get away from all of these people. But yo, look, man, have your drag show somewhere where the people around it are more supportive of it. You want to do it at the Apollo? I tell you this, fine. I'm not trying to look. I think we got weird cultural problems. I'm not okay with this stuff. And there are parents who want to do it. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay away from Martinsburg. I'm going to keep my business away from that city. Keep it away. That's our plan was to build or buy. Not anymore. Good luck to all of you. Good luck. This is what you want. Fine, you can have it. That's crazy, man. I'm worried about the protests. You know, I'm not a fan of this stuff. I just don't know, dude. I think it's bad. I think it's dangerous. Pedro L. Gonzalez tweeted, good reminder that there won't be a national divorce when red parts of red Texas are places where, 1, Antifa can do this with impunity, and 2, medical students are learning gender therapy for kids is life-saving. You're going to need a better solution than the current GOP, even at the local level. Yeah, you get it. So maybe Mark Ruffalo is right about all this. Sure. I'm not going to be building community events or anything around that stuff. And maybe things are going to fall apart. So I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/Timcast. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.